Well, since you seem to worry so much, yeah, I'll tell you a little. You know, after my second divorce, I felt pretty defeated. So I rented an apartment and took a whole year for myself just to sort of sort things out. I used to see beautiful women sitting at a street light and think, man, got to be one out there for me, you know? Used to say that to myself all the time. And then I met my wife. She pursued me relentlessly for an entire year before I finally said I was ready to date again. And after dating for 2 years, we got married. And it's been the best time of my life that I'm having right now. So there's a picture of me weighing 114 pounds or 134 pounds. There's more, but I'm not ready for that yet. So we bought this empty lot when I got out of the hospital with the bone marrow transplant. We bought 4 properties. We bought this empty lot because I always had a shop at work. I never had to worry about not having a shop. But now that I was forced to retire early, was bedridden for almost a year, we bought these empty lots with 3 still usable homes. They were in pretty bad shape. One of them was pretty decent, but the other 2 needed to be completely fixed. And so that's what we did. I dug the foundation for the garage by hand. I rented a bobcat to push the dirt back. And I assembled the metal frame myself using a stepladder, alone. And then once I got that all put together, I went and rented a trailer. I went and got the siding, put all the siding on it alone. After we had all the gravel spread and everything, got that packed, And, did some of the landscaping, best I knew how. And then we had a garage, all of a sudden, a shop. And, not bad, cheap metal building, paid $8,000 for it, little kit, Anyway, poured the floor in it and went and bought a lift and installed the lift myself. And this wasn't the first time I'd put a lift in. Working in the business I was in all my life, I've installed dozens of these things, taken them down and installed them. This one here is one that was gave to me by the company I worked for. I ended up replacing it with a 10,000 pound. This was a 7,000. Took it down, put a 10,000 up a year later. This is just to show you, I put it in myself. And that's for you, baby. Anyway, I was known as the Corvette guy. Any particular day at my shop, you would find Corvettes because there was a Corvette Club of Columbus, Ohio that followed me no matter what shop I was managing at the time. And when they found out I had a shop at home and was working again, here they come. So there's my shop. And these guys have, other classic cars too, street rods, that sort of thing. It's my toolbox right there, you can see. And here we are back at my shop now with those vehicles at my shop at home now, not at the company. So you don't think that's just some picture taken at some shop. Those are the same Corvettes that are in my shop now. And I've been trusted by these guys for years. Some of the Corvettes I work on are worth a lot of money. This isn't all of them. This just happened to be some of the ones I had pictures of around. But on any given day, you would find something like this around being worked on, until I decided to just do work for used car lots because it was a lot easier. I didn't have the stress of worrying about somebody wanting their car back, and an expensive car. If it got one nick on it, you're dealing with that shit. So I sort of slowed down from that. This particular Corvette I do work on. So then I bought a bunch of I bought a startup, a .com startup that failed. I bought all their equipment, brought it home, made me a bunch of really cool shit out of it, so we could sell internet. And, high-speed internet had just started hitting the big cities. It wasn't around here. Wasn't nobody around here going to get no high-speed internet for a while. So we put some dial-up servers in using all this equipment I bought at an auction. And there it is, running and selling services right out of this room that I'm in right now. And it was pretty lucrative for a while. 164 phone lines. You could service 200 customers. And it did okay. I mean, it allowed me to keep occupied and generate some income while doing it. The first time I sat down at a computer, I just sort of understood it. Nobody had to show me. It was odd. A lot of my friends freaked out about that. So I just looked some more pictures of my crappy shop where I don't know how to do anything, and no mechanic, and don't have no ASC certifications, and I worked as just a service writer and just never knew how to do anything at all, and all that. And then let's talk about my truck that don't run. You see, when I bought that truck, I bought it at an auction, knowing that it would need head studs, but it only had 90,000 miles on it. So that's pretty rare for a Power Stroke, a 6-liter. So we shot the cab in the air right away, as soon as I brought it home. And we jerked the engine out of it, sandblasted the frame, and bought a bunch of... I started reading the wrong articles, I guess you could say. Found out you could get a lot of horsepower out of these things. So I jerked the engine out of it, put a ceramic-coated rotating assembly in the engine with a 30-over bore, a set of ported and polished CNC milled heads, aluminum, competition heads with O-rings in them, an O-Dog high-flow aluminum intake, and an Air Dog high-flow lift pump with hybrid injectors, 305 cc, 150% over nozzles, with a stage 3 camshaft that was specially ground for the engine block by a local machine shop, and then the competition turbo and all the Banks tubing, and then mandrel bent all the aluminum shrouding for the radiator and stuff myself. I actually made that fan shroud myself, and as well as the shroud that goes out over the cowling there. We made that. A buddy of mine's got a full sheet metal shop where you can do sheet metal. So we made all that for the engine. And the first pull I took it to, I got second place in the modified division, and I took first place in the street stock division at the fairground. And so anyway, this is a truck I bought that I turned into a monster when I was a young man. You can see a young psychobabble there. Got done welding the dash in it. and this was a 30 over 460. Dana 60 axles with air lockers. This is circa 85. And that was a pretty fun toy. Got turned into a winch truck. I actually ended up installing a winch on the back of that truck and sold it to the pipeline company that I was currently a manager for, so they could pull pipe up hills in the woods. And that truck still does that today. It's still in service, and they still use it. They pull the tires off and lowboy trailer it to the job, put the tires back on, and use it to pull pipe. And you know, I got my old buds together that I used to party with, and we put together a garage band just to do covers and play local clubs. And so pulled a lot of my old sound gear out of storage, plugged everything back in, and we went and had some fun rock and rolling for 3 years. We were going to call ourselves Midlife Crisis, but it ended up being Social Crisis. We rocked a lot of clubs in Columbus, made a pretty good name for ourselves. And the only reason I'm showing you all this, Eismic, is because you don't know a fucking thing about me. Not one thing do you know about me. I'm an electronic mad genius. I'm one of the most accomplished technicians you'll ever have the pleasure of talking to. That I can guarantee you. Crack Squad, I'm not afraid of you. Bring it. You guys aren't nothing but a bunch of lowlife dirt bags.